Claude, all on its own, I got this app, this app, this app, and this app. But when I enabled the front-end design Claude Code skill, I got this app, this app, this app, and this app. If you're interested in learning more, stick around. Hey everybody, Anthropic recently released a skill called a front-end design skill. And they did this to help diversify the front-end designs that Claude Code was spitting out when you asked it to build some sort of web app. So today I'm going to run through what are skills, why are they important. Second, I'm going to run through the demo of this skill, the front-end design skill. And then third, I ran an experiment where I had Claude build 4 apps without the skill enabled and then with the skill enabled. So we're going to compare those and see how they look. So let's jump in. Okay, so what are skills? I'm not going to go too deep into what skills are. If you're interested in that, you can look at some other video on YouTube. But basically, skills provide context to the LLM, in this case Claude, when it's needed. The main thing at play here is this idea of progressive disclosure, only giving Claude the info it needs at the time it needs it, no more and no less. So we can kind of see here on Claude's website, they have what are skills. We can see here that skills are folders of instruction scripts and resources that Claude loads dynamically to improve performance of specialized tasks. How do they work? Skills improve Claude's consistency, speed, and performance on many tasks. They work through progressive disclosure. Claude determines which skills are relevant and loads the information it needs to complete the task, helping to prevent context window overload. So this helps us use less tokens, and then it also helps Claude be more likely to listen because the skill is loaded at the time it needs it, and it's not just sitting in some Claude file at the beginning of its context. It's right there, right at the bottom of the context, right when it needs it. So those are skills. Hopefully that's helpful. So what is this front-end design skill? So Anthropic, the company that builds Claude and Claude Code, they realized that all of the AI apps that were being generated from Claude Code basically looked the same. This article kind of details that. You might notice that when you ask an LM to build a landing page without guidance, it almost always conforms to inner fonts, purple gradients on white backgrounds, and minimal animations. I'm not sure if you've experienced this, but I certainly have. And so what they did is they built a skill to kind of steer Claude into a different direction. This is what the skill looks like. It's just all of this text here. And when you ask Claude to build a front-end app, the idea is that it will load this into its context and it will tell Claude, hey, don't do X, don't do Y, instead do Z. And so it explains some design thinking, commit to a bold aesthetic direction, front-end aesthetic guidelines, talks about typography, color, theme, motion, etc. So it's a pretty short page, but it can have some really big impacts on what is actually generated. So without further ado, let's flip over to Claude Code. We're going to open up Claude, and first we need to activate this skill. So the skill is actually packaged within a kind of a larger concept within Claude Code called a plugin. So we're going to activate that by going /plugins. And then it's right there at the top, front-end design. I think it's the most used plugin so far. I'm going to hit enter and then install for me. It's all installed. Now I need to restart Claude Code to kind of access this plugin. So I'll quit. I'll open Claude back up. And now let's build a simple app. Build a super simple Hello World website using mock data. So I'm going to hit enter and kind of see what happens. Now, one interesting thing with skills is sometimes Claude is really good at using them, and other times it's not. So here, it doesn't look like it's actually using the skill. So it's going to ask me to confirm this. I'm going to deny it because it's not really doing what I want. It's not using the skill first. So I'm going to hit no. Please use the front-end design skill. And so now what's going to happen here is it's using the skill. You can see here, skill front-end design, successfully loaded the skill. And now it's going to build a distinctive Hello World website with mock data. And so you may be wondering, okay, I don't want to have to tell Claude to use this skill, and that's reasonable. And I think what you can do is actually, if we look here, this is called the front matter of a skill. And this is loaded into Claude when Claude loads and whenever you give it a task. And I think what you can do is you can add more examples in the description of, hey, when I say build a front-end app, make sure to invoke this skill. So that's probably something that you can do here so you don't have to nudge Claude to use that skill every time. Flipping back here, Claude is writing this index.html file, and I think it's going to write the CSS, and then we'll be able to give it a look. Yep, so Claude is done here. Looks like it just wrote those files. Going to give it just a minute to finish. Awesome, looks like it's done. I'm going to open up Finder here, open up this demo, and open up the HTML page. Wow, look at this. So this very computer hackery-esque hello world kind of page here, and it looks like when I hover over hello world, it kind of shakes, which is kind of cool. You can see all these different things. Click on these things, looks like they changed. So this is very different from if we didn't use a Claude Code skill, and it just kind of changes it up. And so that's a quick demo of how to use the Claude Code skill, specifically the front-end design skill. And so now let's transition into, okay, you're right, I did not nail that transition, but let's move to talking about the experiment that I ran. Okay, so I'm really excited about this. I just ran this experiment. Let me walk you through how the experiment was set up, and then let me show you the results. So I actually had Claude help kind of pull this experiment together. I had Claude build 4 different apps, a blog, a to-do list, a weather app, and a portfolio. And I had Claude build them all without the skill and then with the skill. Claude kind of packaged these together in some nice bash scripts to run them. Behind the scenes, here's kind of the prompts: build a simple blog with a homepage, article list, etc. Here's the different articles. So this is without the skill, and then this is with the skill. The main difference here is I've just activated the plugin, and then I think this nudges Claude to use the skill. We have a to-do app, we have a weather dashboard, and then a portfolio. So that's kind of the experiment. I just ran it. Let's take a peek. So here is the tech blog. You can see all the articles, can click through them. That's nice. Here's the to-do app. Looks pretty good. If you'll notice, there's a little bit of purple here. Like we talked about earlier, we can check these off. Cool. And then if we look at the weather, I think, let's see, New York, search. All right, we can see New York weather. I think this is just mock data. Also notice purple, blue. And then a portfolio, which also has purple and blue. Weather app, task manager, e-commerce platform. Okay, cool. So yeah, here's a portfolio. The website looks great, but you will notice that it looks kind of AI generated. Very similar fonts on each of them, similar colors, et cetera, et cetera. Now let's take a look at the ones that were using the skill. We're going to look at them side by side. So here is the tech blog. Looks a little bit different. I think it looks pretty good. Has some interesting animations. That was one of the things that in Anthropic's paper, they talked about Claude was not using animations. And so I think the skill nudged Claude Code to kind of add some animations here. I think this looks pretty good. So here's this. Let's now flip over to the to-do app. Okay, so here's the to-do app. Looks a little bit more, I'm not even sure how to describe this, but a little bit more in your face, definitely more bold, which was, kind of prompted in the skill, but looks nice, looks different. Let's look at the weather app here. This looks pretty darn good. New York, 5-day forecast. This is just mock data, so it's obviously different between the two instances, but this looks really nice. I think we can, let's see, London. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that looks quite nice. And then this portfolio site, let's take a peek here. Definitely more bold, no purple. Can see all these, oh, there's a little purple. E-commerce platform. I can look and see more information on this. Go back, weather app. Okay. Let me see, where's the weather app over here? Can I see it? Projects, weather app. Interestingly enough, it chose the same color for demoing the weather app on both of these. But this definitely looks less AI generated than this one. So there you go. You can see here, that the control without the skill looks like your typical AI generated apps. If you haven't generated many apps yet or sites with AI, you will notice that they look very similar to this. And so it's really nice and refreshing to kind of see these different designs show up over here just by using the front-end design skill. So I think that's a wrap. Hopefully this was interesting and helpful to you. I was mainly just curious myself to kind of see, what does this front-end design skill actually do? Is it significantly different than just asking Claude to build things on its own? And the answer is yes, it is quite different. And so it does help us break the mold of things that are traditionally viewed as being AI generated, having that purple background, the similar fonts, etc. But here's the catch. If everyone uses this new skill, then we've just redefined the standard of what AI generated is. So the biggest takeaway here is, yes, using the skill can help you break the current mold of what AI generated looks like, but it might just move you to a new standard. And so I think the bigger takeaway is that Claude Code skills work. And what may be more impactful for you is to actually build and design your own front-end design skill with your own ideas of what looks good and what doesn't, so that you can kind of have your own brand to steer Claude Code in the direction that you want. So when you generate something, it isn't just kind of thrown out as, oh, this is AI generated. So hopefully that's helpful. In the future, I could maybe do a video on what it looks like to maybe generate your own front-end design skill. Let me know if you're interested in that. But yeah, excited to share this with you, and hopefully you find it helpful. Bye.